Now, let's quickly create all 5 levels from scratch. At the top right of the screen, single-click on the header called Roof. Now, go to the bottom right of the screen and under the tab called Add Master Macro, enter the name of the new first level header that you want to appear in the list. In this case, I will enter Siding. And then I will click the Add button. You can see how the word Siding has now appeared at the bottom of the expandable list and is located on the first tier level. Now let's enter a second level tier. Single click on your new siding level and then enter the name of the level that you want to create underneath the siding level. In this case, let's type in Wood and then click Add. You can see that a plus sign has now been added to the word siding. Click the plus sign to see the new lower level called Wood. Click it. Now go to the bottom and enter Masonite into the Master Macro named field. Now click Add. Now you can see that the word Masonite is nested under the header called Wood and then under the header called Siding. Now go to the Add Note at the bottom of the screen. Enter a note name called Debris Damage with a description of this impact was caused by wind-driven debris. Go ahead and click the Add button and you will see the note is now beneath Masonite. If we want to click on a note, we can now double click on Debris Damage and it will add itself into the note. This is going to make us 4 levels deep with the note on the 5th level. Remember, the headers can be created to 4 levels deep and then a note can be added to the last header to make the expandable list tree a maximum potential total of 5 layers deep. Now of course you can add notes at any level, although it is likely best not to add them to the first tier so that you do not have a big cluttered mess of notes all in one column on the first tier. In fact, I personally do not like mixing the notes and the headers on the same level. As a rule, I try to categorize my notes as deeply nested as I can so that it is as easy as possible to quickly browse through and locate what I'm looking for. Despite my better judgment, let's go ahead and begin with the first tier. Click on Roof, go to the bottom right of the screen, and click the Add Note tab and enter the note name and the note text itself. I will enter Level 1 Test and Level 1 Test Note. Now click the Add button. Now double-click into a photo description and then double-click the note that you just created and you will see it has pasted the note text correctly. Now click on the first level that you had created called Siding and let's add a note on the siding level. Single click the word Siding and then go to the bottom right of the screen and click the Add Note tab and then I will type in Test Name as the note name and then Test Note as the note description. We then click the Add button and double-click into a photo description and then double-click the note that you just added called Test Name and you will see the word Test Note appear in the photo description. Now let's begin to wrap up this tutorial with the creation of additional horizontal level headers. So for example, if you wanted to create another header on the same level as the header called Wood, then you would click the header above Wood called siding, and then go to the bottom of the screen, and under Enter Master Macro Name, you will put the new name. I will call it Metal. I will then click Add. Now you can see a new header called Metal has appeared on the same level with the header called Wood, and under the level called Siding, and under the level called Roof. The last thing that we need to discuss in this tutorial is importing and exporting. Don't worry, it will be really quick because it's really easy. The first and most important thing that you need to know is that you cannot import partial macros, at least not at this time. It is either export all and import all, or nothing. So if you have spent a bunch of time creating MacroNotes, then the first thing that you will want to do, just for the sake of safekeeping, is to export those macros. You do not need to click anywhere inside the tree because, as I said, it's all or nothing. So just click the Export All button at the bottom right of the page. Give your export a name. We'll call it MacroNote Backup 52622, and for now I'll save it to the inside of a folder that I created on my desktop called MacroNote. Now let's open up the folder called MacroNote, and we can see that the MacroNote file is a very lightweight and simple 10 kilobit CSV file that can easily be emailed. You can open the file and see how it's put together. Although for now, let's stick to editing it with the app. So now that you know how to export a macro, let's go back into PicPal and delete our entire macro tree and then re-import it from our backup. I will click on Roof at the top of the expanding tree list, and then at the bottom right of the screen I will click Delete. Now I will click the Import All button, and a dialog box pops up asking if you understand that any and all existing MacroNotes will be irretrievably overwritten. Do you want to continue? Yes. And it opens a window for you to point to the MacroNote file that you would like to import. In this case, it already knew that I'd be in the MacroNote folder on my desktop, so I will double click the file name and it imports. You can now see at the top right of the screen the expanding list of MacroNotes that I had imported a few minutes ago. Well, that is about it for this video. Please be sure to watch all of the PicPal training videos.